Welcome to another episode of Big Brand MMA Podcast, episode 53. Big pay-per-view, UFC 284, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. I've got a special guest, Pepe Silvia. Doesn't need an introduction. How are you, mate?
Great, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Always watch your content and appreciate the grind. I know you understand how it is.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I've been just been getting a lot of listeners just asking, "Are you going to bring Pepe on?" So I was like, "Yeah, if you're going to ask me, I'll bring him on." It was always my plan. Is just never got around to asking. You kind of had a few guests lined up, so I
Oh
think,
yeah,
yeah, go
those are my burners.
on. Yeah, there's going to be a big drop off in comments for this one, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Just about 5 or 6 accounts won't be available live, so yeah, that's all right. I'm sure Chad will be in here with his 5 and 6 accounts. One's here already, free Ukraine. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I've got a little. If you're on YouTube, check that out. Pepe Silvia on the bottom. Big bucks for this podcast. Look at that. That's cost me a fortune. Not really. It was free. But yeah, even if you're not a fan of me, I try to bring on sharp guests every single week. No squares, no popular Twitter people that just don't know how to gamble. So give us a like and subscribe. I've got to unsubscribe this week for the first time. That's not cool. I'm going to find you, whoever you are. But yeah, let's get into it, mate. First fight on the card: Zubaira, Tukhugov, Elvis, Brenner. Personally, this is a pass fight for me. You know, Zubaira moving up to lightweight. Brenner just a bit of a typical scrappy, flaky dude, but he's he trains with Oliveira. These guys have been underrated before. You know, they make drastic improvements. He's young. The only thing I was looking into this was kind of the under. I just don't like how Zubaira's, most of his finishing upside is early. Then he kind of slows down and gasses and kind of looks to wrestle. Might as well play the under 1.5. Although most of Brenner's equity, when he gets really hittable, it seems to be in round 3. He kind of just falls apart. Sloppy, getting hit, falling to the ground. I think if he falls to the ground, Zubaira is just going to lay on him. So no conviction. I might not have time to retape this just for the under. What about you, mate? You got anything?
No, it's a pass for me too. And it's tough to even play it from a total perspective because Brenner has never been finished. And if Zuba's not going to get the KO1, I do think he's live to get an early knockout, but like you said, if he doesn't get the early knockout, I think there's a good chance that he just just wrestles and tries to control him. And I think it's a levels fight, and that the line is probably accurate, and it's kind of like almost a coin flip whether Zuba's gonna finish. My gut kind of tells me that it's gonna go over. That Brenner will be able to tough it out early, and that Zuba wins a clear decision. I wonder what the minus 3.5 on Zuba is. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I agree with most things you said. I never have those lines. I'm always jealous when I scrap hits him.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't even hit it, man. It's just there's a lot of concerns with Zubaira. The gassiness and Elvis, Brenner. Like taping LFA for the first time now. I've kind of got a good read on these scrappy guys. I kind of wanted to hit Santos last week when everyone was hammering Delano. The Delano juice. They improve, man. They improve every week, and at least he's got volume. And maybe Zubaira gets robbed at some point. Just holding on to him rounds 2 and 3, and maybe his cardio is even worse in Perth. Everyone's talking about the cardio and the jet lag, which I agree. And no one's talking about the judges, man. I don't think the judges are flying out to Perth, Western Australia, and then you've got some dodgy judges in Australia. I went to a couple of live events, and I've seen fighters get robbed, man. So hopefully you have a thought on that. But yeah, I agree with everything. I think this could go over. I think it's never been finished. Yeah, just a tough one.
Like hometown rub kind of robbery towards the Australians.
Yeah, a bit of that. Like Jake Matthews when he got rid of my countryman Serbian Steel out of there just by holding onto the cage for 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But just not even that, but just incompetence. Not just they can't judge properly. And remember, I'm sure you know Steve Percival, the legendary ref. Every time he comes on the screen, everyone boos. The crowd boos. I was there live. It was amazing. Every time I was just drunk. I was just booing with everyone else. I was like more of a casual back then with betting. was like, why is everyone booing this guy? And then I just joined in and I was booing him. It was great. So he's probably going to be reffing shit. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that scares me on this card personally. But yeah, that's a pass one for sure. I probably wouldn't even have time to look into it.
Speaking of some hometown robbery, perhaps that could play into the next fight.
Yeah. I'll let you take it away, man. Blake Bilder,
Okay.
Shane Young.
Yeah, so the way I played this fight was I played Young money line at -105 about a week ago, and I played the under or fight doesn't go the distance at -130. Bilder is just such a liability on the feet. His striking defense is awful. He's gotten dropped 3 times in the past 3 fights, like excluding last fight in Contenders, which he was getting pieced up a little bit before he ended up getting the finish. But previous to that in CFFC, he was losing every minute of both fights until he got the finish. And that's just not a style that is sustainable. So I think this is a solid spot for Young at pick'em price, with the edge that he has on the feet and the experience and not in his backyard, but basically, they're obviously all going to be cheering for him, and this is a huge step up for Bilder, in my opinion.
Yeah, yes. A few things I agree to disagree with you. This was the first fight I taped before the week even started, mostly because everyone was just, yourself on Young and then someone else and then Scrap on Young. And I'm like, okay, this line is definitely going to move. So let's look into that first when it was still a pick'em. And another sharp friend just said, can you look into that fight? And I said, why? You play Young as well? He goes, well, I don't want to say anything. Look into it. And I hit him up and I said, man, I kind of like Bilder here. I remember Bilder. I taped him, I played him against Morgan and, he had the same faults then, getting dropped, et cetera, et cetera. Morgan's got a nice 1-2s. He was meant to pick him apart. Obviously, the line was much bigger there. It was like a $3 something underdog. So understandable. This is more of a pick 'em. And I was taping and I was like, yep, I remember all those flaws from Bilder. Young obviously has good takedown defense according to what the people are saying. So that's probably what I'm going to see on tape. It's going to be an easy play. And yeah, just came out impressed, man. Just, the whole plotting style with the 1-2s, occasional pull counter, extremely slow, extremely hittable. His takedown defense is okay. But he can be taken down. He's not completely untaken downable. I just made up a word on the spot. But the main thing is, yeah, just gives his back up every single time, right? And yes, I know Bilder is a good back taker, but it's just I don't know how Young is going to get up off his back if he doesn't give up his back. Usually just tripods and stands back up. But even then, the people that Bilder's getting dropped by, and you look at Shane Young's record, like, would any of these guys be CFFC champions? Rolando D, Austin Arnett, like, would they even fight for a CFFC title? They're just guys that were just the bottom of the barrel in the UFC. And, yeah, he beat him. But, yeah, just when we fought anyone good, Omar Morales 30-27. I just don't like his game. Plod forward, look to jab and straight. Occasionally mixes in cage push. Whenever he cage push Omar Morales, he went for a ride. So I'm like, cool. Why does he even engage grappling here if he just absolutely sucks at it? Just getting tossed by Morales. And Morales is also a bit extremely low volume. The fact that he got a 30-27 over Shane just absolutely shut him down. I haven't played it just because I knew the line was going to keep moving. First reaction was I should probably just pass on this fight. Can Bilder win a decision? You could probably get taken down, stay on bottom. Look for subs, not sub Young. You can probably get dropped. Everything both of us we've seen on tape. So I agree with you there. Is like, can he win a decision? If he doesn't finish, maybe he doesn't finish Young. It's just a lot of questions I have, but he's just a winner. I've seen Bilder lose and just win the fight. Make changes. He's got power. Whereas Young, he doesn't change anything. He just keeps pressuring forward and keeps staying hittable. I don't think he has a second gear or third gear. So yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. I probably will just put half a unit on Bilder just from what I've seen from him, but I'm not rushing to it. If it stays at $2.10, maybe I won't even play it. My friend thinks the money's going to keep coming on Young. I personally thought later on in the week when other people tape it, it might go back the other way, but probably not, man. Like everyone is on Young. So yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. But yeah, I understand. Like I completely see all the faults in Bilder's game. It's just I don't rate Young at all. I don't think Young should be in the UFC personally.
I mean, Young is still kind of young, no pun intended.
No.
There's still some development he can be doing to his game. And he's a tough dude too. I mean, he did cuck a little bit against Morales, but Morales is huge. And he's shown to have a good chin. Like he's taken some. I've seen him eat big shots and keep going forward. So I don't think he's gonna back down from a dogfight. And it's yeah, I it's like Bilder seems like he's in the middle of he's better than D and Arnett, but I don't think he's as good as Morales. So it'll be a good measuring stick for Young, but I know it's definitely a risky play, but I feel decent about um, Young piecing him up on the feet and, hopefully gets the knockout and I can cash both of my bets. What do you think about the under? You don't like it?
No, just because I agree with you on a lot of like I don't see how Young is going to finish him with these like the jab 1-2 and the pull counters. He hit D with an elbow. He dropped Arnett, at the end of round 3, but it's just not much, finishing ability. It's more just like death by 1,000 cuts. And if anything, he's probably just going to drop Bilder and, jump in his guard or let Bilder stand up, something like that. If anything, I kind of just like maybe the no scorecard. I think someone got him at Pick'em, Bilder no scorecards, because I think most likely Young just wins a technical decision. Bilder pulls a sub out of his ass again, or maybe even knocks him out. Who knows? I mean, Bilder seems to crack, man. The guy that dropped him multiple times, he just swarmed him and knocked him out in round 3, and then he wobbled Morgan behind the ear as well with a decent hook. So not completely against him hurting Young, but it's just a tough fight. If anything, I would just take dog money on Bilder and just pray that he just hurts Young and just Young cucks again.
Yeah, it's possible.
Anything's possible, bro. But yeah, if I don't end up playing it, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next fight, Loma Lookboonmee versus Elise Reed. I'll take this one away. I've been seeing, some people say they like the massive dog shot on Reed, and then someone I respect said they laid the Loma juice, which I was like, oh damn, there must be something there. Looked into it, and yeah, you see a couple of things from Reed on tape, and it's like that's not bad. And then you look at Loma, and she's just winning clear unanimous decisions. She's throwing. Her wrestling's kind of underrated. If you're going to clinch up with her, you're going for a ride. She's got good trips, good throws. Reed, bad takedown defense. She's barely beating the women she's beating. She's gassy, bad off her back. The only reason I haven't played it yet, I'm kind of just looking for another safe parlay piece. I just talked myself out of it last minute, and this whole card feels like that for me. It's just a lot of people are initiating grappling with Loma, and that's when they go for a ride. Like Hughes was an idiot. Hughes was kind of tagging her because she has big reach, and she just kept grabbing her and just kept going for a ride. It's like just stand up with her. Loma's got the low hands. And other girls too, the Gomez chick, she also initiated the grappling. But what if Reed just stays on the outside and plays the old striking game? She's got, nice pull counters, some decent power. It could be a 3-round close striking, female decision where the Australian judge just robs you. But yeah, maybe you can help me out. I didn't go super deep. Does Loma initiate grappling herself? Or if Reed doesn't push it, is just going to be just like a 3-round striking fight?
No, I do think like she has initiated grappling, and yeah, so I was looking for a reason to play Elise Reed, but yeah, I came away just deciding to pass on it. Like I do think that if they stayed on the feet for 15 minutes, that it could be a close to 50-50 fight because Reed's got much better hands. Loma's pretty low volume. She's got nice kicks, but like she can be blitzed on. she doesn't move her head all that much. She's there to be hit. I just don't trust Reed's fight IQ, to be honest. Like, I could see her throwing a kick and that getting caught and leading to a takedown, and she's just so bad off of her back, man. Like, I don't know. I like a lot of people are saying that they see a finish for Loma. Like, I haven't seen anyone advocating for Reed personally, but a lot of people are saying Loma finish, but I don't see that. Um, I think if she gets her down and is ground and pounding her, she'll create enough space for Reed to scramble and squirm um, to keep her alive. Like, Reed's tough. She's not just gonna give up. Um, so yeah, it's a pass for me as well. I'm definitely not laying the Loma juice.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I can understand the finishing. I also myself kind of didn't see it, but when you look at some of her matches, Loma versus what's that Asian chick's name with really low volume?
Genu Frey.
Yeah, she just kicked the crap out of her and looked like Frey was folding. Reed with the cardio, I guess I can see the same thing in the Hughes fight where Hughes she was dead in round 2 and then just she got finished with ground and pound. And then you look at Loma in her last fight against a black belt. That Gomez girl's a black belt, right? Or maybe a purple belt. Maybe you can correct me. Yeah, just raining big shots and in mounts. It's like, yeah, can Reed get out of that? I mean, it's just the cardio. The main thing is the cardio. Like, Reed is so gassy, you just never know. So I can see it, and it's a massive number. I'm not against it, but me personally, I'd rather play Loma round 3 decision. Decision's a little bit risky for me, just with Reed cardio. And Loma's kicked the crap out of a lot of girls. Frey and the Gomez girl, just short of finishing him. But yeah, Reed is someone that can probably flake and get finished. So yeah, I understand people taking a stab.
Yeah, I agree. Just not for me.
Yep, fair. Let's move on. Alrighty, next fight. Jack Jenkins versus Don Shainis. I'll let you take this one away, man.
So I don't have anything here. I was looking to play Shainis. I went into tape hoping to play him, but after tape and all things considered, I wasn't interested in playing him. I think this is a showcase fight for Jenkins. Shainis was a Glory MMA guy, and he had to go back home after the gym split up, and he's just been bouncing around small gyms. I think Jenkins is pretty solid. I wouldn't say that he has him completely covered, but I don't really see Shainis being able to get his game off. I think Jenkins should be able to piece him up on the feet. I think the one worry would be is if you're laying Jenkins juice that he gets stuck on bottom for 2 rounds. Because I don't see a finish happening. I think the over 1.5 is a decent look, but Shainis is super hittable early, and in a couple of his old fights he fights super reckless. He's gotten dropped early in the Williams fight. He survived, but it was a super chaotic, sloppy exchange that could potentially have led to a finish. And yeah, I don't know. And then I was looking to see if maybe I can play Jenkins ITD, and there's just been more than one occasion where you think he could finish his opponent, and then he just coasts. He'll just get top time, get the takedown, and just sit and guard, and he won't do anything. So it's a tough fight for me. I don't have an angle on this one yet. How about you?
Yeah, I taped it just to see that over as well. I remember, I think I played the over 1.5 in his Contender Series fight, and he was just coasting. Just the guy gave him every chance, pulling him on top mount, and just yeah, just Jack was just sitting on top. And on his regionals, he just calf kicks a lot. Takes his time. And I thought this would be a good play. And then you watch Shainis, and he's just got rabies, and he looks like he will be inviting the under. How aggressive he can be. Putting his head in guillotines and, like you said, dropped because his punches are so looping and wild. But then it's like, if he gets a takedown against Jack, he's set in Lencioni's guard for 3 rounds. Chris Lencioni, the guy that upset Cody Law, and he's got really good jiu-jitsu off his back, and he just, there's never any danger. So, I think Jack will be hard to take down, but I think Jack can take Don down because Don has got awful takedown defense. He's got a good butterfly sweep though, which he uses to get on top. It didn't feel right. I'm more of an under guy. Whenever I forced juiced overs, I end up losing. So too much aggression from Don Shainis, and the big thing is he gets his back taken a lot. He got his back taken by Lencioni twice in round 1 and round 3. Williams took his back multiple times, and Jack Jenkins, he's got a few rear naked chokes and he's got a good back take. So it just seems like a sweat field over at Juice. I don't feel comfortable playing it. So everything is a pass, and I wouldn't parlay Jack. I think he's got a lot more maturing to do. Even though he fights pretty patiently, nothing from me here.
Did you like any of the late submission numbers for Jenkins, or did you just not even?
I was going to look into that. I just never bothered. I just thought let's move on to the other fight I have to take before I jump on the podcast, and then what are they paying?
Not good. Not good.
Yeah. My other concern is, it could also be a KO. He's got a lot of knockouts from top mount and ground and pound because he's wrestling so good.
Yeah.
Let me have a quick quiz. Submission for KO. Well, KO is paying nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, I think a submission is definitely the better. Just the first thing that popped up was how many times Don's had his back taken. Submission 2-3 is paying $9.50, which is plus 1,000, I guess, for you guys, something like that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way Don fights, probably get submitted in round 1, man.
Yeah, right. Or just knocked out in like a minute.
What about this under 2.5? I've kind of talked myself into this 2.5. It's not too juicy, is it?
Do you have do you rate Shainis having any finishing equity?
Yeah, man. I guess he's very aggressive with his ground and pound. If he hits a butterfly sweep and it gets him out, and he's also a good back taker. But it's not much. Is it much better than? It wouldn't be much better than Jack's inside the distance, right? So I've got out of all my.
And Jenkins was submitted in his 2 losses. So
yeah, and that's what I noticed. And it wasn't long ago. It was a couple of years ago. And one of the guys he rematched, and he just ran through him in rounds 2 by KO. So he's obviously improving.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not. This is Australian regional scene. You have to remember that. These guys are not amazing fighters.
Right.
Yeah. Almost a pick 'em. I guess the Jack Jenkins finish is it's 20 cents better, and it gives you another 2.5 minutes to finish. Yeah. Haven't decided. It might just be a pass fight for me altogether.
Yeah, same.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Alrighty. Jamie Mullarkey versus Francisco Prado. I'll take this one. I think I've kind of ruined the who's going first and whatnot. Doesn't matter. We'll just swing it. Yeah, this is probably the second fight I taped. I like to tape these guys that I've never heard of making their debut. By the way, Francisco Prado, the Argentinian Drew Dober. That's not going to stick. Doesn't matter. Look at that face there. That's and just the stocky build and everything. Yeah, I was like, well, let's someone on Sherdog talking about he might be a potential spot. The Ferreira versus Robocop spot. I didn't personally see it. I don't think Mullarkey's as chinny, and I rated Ferreira more than some other people last week. Just couldn't get a good read. I kind of played it under 2.5, and it doesn't go before I kind of finished my tape, and then the line moved massively. And after tape, I cashed out to 2.5. I don't feel amazingly confident just because Prado could be one of those durable guys, and Mullarkey can mix in grappling, and he doesn't have much submission offense. But I think he's just gritty, and if he sees this kid kind of slowing down, he's just going to turn it on. You can trust him. You've seen it in the Devontae Smith fight. He doesn't pull away. He almost knocked out, Johnson as well, who somewhat good chin. So yeah, I just think the grittiness could potentially put out Prado, and the cardio is not the best, which is why I play that doesn't go. I want the extra 2.5 minutes, and just the unit. Not overly confident, but I just feel like it could be a 1-round fight. So why not? And Prado, man, he's fought nobodies, but he has a jiu-jitsu background. He's got power. Power translates whether you're fighting nobodies or good people. He could hit like a truck. We don't know until we see him fight Mullarkey. So I've just got a unit on that doesn't go at $1.60, and yeah, just leave it at that. I wouldn't trust Mullarkey at juice. I don't want to completely underestimate this kid, and it seems like a good live bet fight. What about you?
Dude, so you said you're keeping the under?
That doesn't go.
Okay.
I cashed out the under. The under was a 10 cents better, 13 cents. But I'd rather take 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen. It seems to be a popular play this week. The under, the under 2.5 seems to be like a popular play this week, and I mean, I definitely get it. Prado obviously has a ton of early finishes, and Mullarkey, all but 2 of his wins are finishes, but we did see the archetype in which a Mullarkey fight can go over when he fought ZM, and he just wrestled him and just stayed on top the whole time. And I've seen Prado on bottom, and he doesn't have many answers. So I think if Mullarkey wanted to wrestle and reduce the risk, like if he's getting tagged up a little bit and he's just like, okay, I just need to get this W and not put myself in the fire, then he could just wrestle and just keep him on bottom like the whole time. So that would be my only concern. I don't really rate a Prado knockout that much. So I think Mullarkey can beat him on the feet, and he can beat him in grappling. So I think he's a pretty safe parlay piece, but I mean, like, I understand why you might not want to just because of historically, but this is a massive step down in competition, in my opinion.
Yep.
Prado's just fighting bums. Like that Samurai promotion is like a complete joke.
Who else has come out of the Samurai promotion?
Island Perez.
She's the future goat.
Yeah, future 135 champ. She's already calling out Amanda Nunes and Norma Dumont.
Any other male fighters?
Mm-mm.
What about the guy with the Ribio, whatever his name is, the guy that sparked that ball German on Contender Series?
That was Brazil.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I know he's Argentinian, so I thought potentially.
No, Ribeiro is Brazilian.
Is he?
Yeah,
not Ribeiro. The Argentinian guy. Paul. Paul?
Yeah,
the German guy.
Esteban or whatever.
Yeah, Esteban.
Yeah.
Something with he's Argentinian.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look into that because he's fighting soon too.
He was parking bums on some sort of Argentinian regional scene, and he was like massive juice, and then he just ran through the guy as well. He seems good. I like his boxing. All right. Kyrax with a comment. Who was calling this guy Argentinian Dober? Only me, mate. I tried to start it. Didn't catch on. I probably should have added a photo on the Twitter, but I wanted people to try figure it out.
I mean, his chin is he's got a nice jawline, so I'll give you that.
Dude, that's a replica. Look at that topology and tell me it does not look like.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'll take this one as well. So next fight we have Clayton Rodriguez versus Shannon Ross. I faded Ross on Contender. That was the dog money. Now I'm kind of fading him at crappy minus money line. Yeah, I'm not overly confident. I just think this is a levels fight. Clayton. I didn't fade him against CJ Vergara, but I did play CJ after about 2 minutes into the fight. I thought he was gassing. Upon retaping him, you see a lot of red flags in his early amateur. It is easy to be taken down, and kind of spends too much time on bottom. And a lot of those spinning back elbows and just unset up moves. Obviously, the athleticism is insane and the power is insane. Probably the durability as well. Yeah, just a lot of those flaky things that I usually try to avoid at minus money. But he fought well in Contender Series, and then he didn't fight like himself, and you always got to be cautious. Is he going to not fight like himself in the UFC? And he tried to against CJ, but CJ just pressures and just walked through everything, and that was a perfect style to gas him out. I still think CJ lost that. I think I got lucky with that live bet when they were announcing the decision. I thought I lost at 29-28. But also CJ, hits hard. He hurt him to the liver. He's big. Shannon Ross also pressures, which is why I'm kind of nervous. If he pressures and Rodriguez doesn't put him out, is he going to tire out? But I just don't think the Ross has the durability that CJ has. We've seen him dropped 2-3 times and then put out cold by Salvador. Salvador does hit hard, so I'll give him kind of some slack there. But then he's been dropped by Erseg. Erseg is the Australian regional guy that was meant to be in Contender, but then he got injured, so they pulled in Shannon Ross. Even he dropped him with a jab before he re-naked choking him. I just think Rodriguez can, hurt him, drop him, submit him. Early on Ross's career, he's just getting taken down by, Ashkan, Mokhtar, which people are mentioning. By the way, if you know Ashkan, the guy with the rat tail, I watched him live in Australia as well, and all these Aussie fans were booing him. That's because he was running away from Ryan Benoit. And then when Benoit knocked him out with a head kick, the Aussie crowd was cheering for the French guy. I was like, man, that sucks. You're in your home field, and the Aussie crowd is booing you. Like, that's how much they just want an exciting fight in Australia. So sucks that I won't be going to Perth. Just all the bloody scalpers took the tickets, and now they're selling them for $1,000. But yeah, I just think I'm going to keep something. I got 2,000 on Rodriguez. I just got under minus 200. Wish I got to minus 200. Wasn't even open for me. I'll just keep it. I think I'll be playing at a lot of juice, a lot of safe juice, Loma, etc. Yeah, I think also the Perth, the jet lag is scaring me with his cardio, but I just think more often than not, Shannon Ross has to have the perfect fight. And I've got the under 2.5 at plus money, just half a unit. I kind of feel like cashing that out. I don't want to lose any of my Rodriguez profits. If he just did what he did on Contender Series, stick and move, be very patient, mixing takedowns. But I think, plus money, that's a bit silly. I'm surprised that someone not durable like Ross and someone with the power Rodriguez and submission acumen, I'm really surprised that line hasn't been steamed. And Ross has power as well. If you look at some of his regional fights, he's pressuring and he's dropping people and he's finishing them. So, yeah, man, what do you reckon?
So yeah, I was looking at that under 2.5 for a little bit, but something was there was something that was holding me off from playing it, and then money started coming in on it, and it was no longer plus money, and now it's a pick 'em, and I think it could look like huge value, because Ross is kind of like an under fighter, but I do think he does possess the fighting style that could give Clayton some problems. The only issue is Clayton's just so much faster than him and more athletic. But Shannon does have like a similar style to Vergara, where like he's gonna try to crowd him and do dirty boxing and go for takedowns. So I do think that he can make it a dog fight and potentially make it close, and maybe even hurt Clayton and get a finish of his own. So I do think he's a little more live than some people. Rodriguez seems to be a popular play, and I haven't seen anyone advocating for Ross at all. So I was kind of waiting to see if the line was going to get any bigger. But ideally, I think the way to play it for me is going to be just play it live. And if Ross can survive the first 4 minutes or so, then just play him live. Because I think you'll get a much better line on him after a couple minutes, because early, Clayton should be able to dominate early. So yeah, I don't have anything. I might stab Shannon Ross sub. There's some 25 to 1s out there. It's kind of a silly number. I could see a club and sub situation round 2 or 3 when Clidson's more tired, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've seen one sub attempt in all his regional tape personally. Yeah, I guess I understand taking a massive stab, small sprinkle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a live bet. Just like I didn't have balls to bet CJ beforehand. As soon as I saw how he was looking,
Yeah.
I think it's the same here. I don't want to be playing Ross and then Rodriguez is looking sharp and Ross is just coming into the most brutal strikes coming back at him with that chin that he has in that defense. So you definitely want to see Rodriguez slow down a bit before pulling the trigger, personally anyway.
Yeah.
Before,
So Ross has 1 submission on his record. But yeah, it would just be a small little poke anyways.
Yeah, nice. Good luck to you. Steve Gregory, EPL footy tip. Palace, Brighton, over 2.5, line is off. If it was a Series A match, it will be set at over 3. Man, I've been playing that over 2.5 for Brighton every single week, and I've been cashing every single week. And then they just won 1-0 against Bournemouth, so kind of dropped me down to even money again. Just off topic, struggling to make the profit that I do with MMA on soccer. Just too hard. Alrighty, next fight: Joshua Culibao, Melsik Baghdasaryan. All yours, mate. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm excited for this fight. I think it's going to be one of the better ones on the card. I think they both possess a pretty decent skill set on the feet, which should make for an entertaining fight. I favor Melsik early. He's a little quicker. He's got the sharper kicks. He closes distance better, well fresh than Culibao. Culibao is kind of janky with the way he switches stances, and like I would say that Culibao probably has the better hands because he mixes his kicks and punches a little better. Melsik's more so focused on like the big power kicks. He doesn't really let his hands go enough, in my opinion. But I think Melsik will be the one that's pressing forward a little more early, and he'll have the good optics for the judges early. And I think Culibao will slowly take over, but I do cap this as like a super close fight. I think the line is like perfect where it is right now. I think it is like close to a 50-50 in my opinion from what I see on tape. But I do think it's going to go over. I've heard some people say that they see a finish in this fight and that both guys possess finishing equity, and I do think they both do. I just don't think it's that high. I think the over in GTD is a pretty safe spot. They're both just so like defensively focused. Like they know exactly what's gonna come back at them and they know how to keep themselves safe. So I don't really see them putting themselves in harm's way. Therefore, I think it's going to go over, and I could see a split decision, one of those fights where you're not really sure who's winning the round. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I left this till the last moment. I just had this feeling that, I'd pick him. I wasn't going to find an edge. And yeah, pretty much, I kept going back and forth, taping Culibao, taping Baghdasaryan. I was like, yep, I like Culibao. Baghdasaryan just gasses. And even though Culibao doesn't have the best wrestling, I'm seeing, Baghdasaryan taken down by Bazookia and other not the greatest wrestlers. And then you take Culibao, and it's like that style's not going to work against Baghdasaryan. The whole staying on the outside, looking to be patient. Like against Nurembeki, the wrestler, that's not going to work because we've seen Bruno, the karate guy, try that, and he just lost to the bigger shots, eye-catching shots. So if you don't push Baghdasaryan, he's not going to gas, and he's just going to have, he's a high-level kickboxer, despite gassing and being a bit too simple. The straight left, the body kicks, the head kicks, they're all high-amplitude shots. And the judges care about those more than anything. But Kulibao's heavy-handed as well. He's just Choi was a lot more defensively responsible. I don't think his chin's as good. Just I came up with no strong read on either side to pick him, and hopefully a good live betting opportunity. Hopefully, Baghdasaryan comes out strong, and then you can fade him if he gasses out with Culibao. And even the over, minus 200 is just I expected something better. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was better a few days ago, but yeah, it's just a pass for me.
Yeah, I know. I got over 2.5 minus 155.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's decent actually.
And I know a couple of people are on goes to decision minus 134 on FanDuel. I think it's decent.
Yeah, I think Culibao is extremely durable. Extremely durable. You've seen him; he was in deep guillotines by Jalen Turner twice, and you see everyone else that Jalen Turner grabs the guillotine, they tap. And even when he was flattened out and mounted, I was just looking at the time just in case I had the over/under. I always do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 40 seconds to go, and Culibao was mounted and flattened out, and he just kept getting out and essentially fighting for your money, right? So he's not going to quit, and that's when he tore his groin as well already. So I don't think he's going to be finished here. And Baghdasaryan, I got more questions about his durability, but he just seems like one of those durable guys, even when he's gassed. So yeah, I guess it's probably safe. It's just for me, I don't know. I don't know if I want to hit it. You never know, man. Maybe Baghdasaryan comes out there like in the Bazookia fight and then just, I don't know, gets guillotined. Just no strong takes.
Yeah, or he fucking hits him with like a perfect liver kick or something.
Yeah. I mean, someone that hits that hard, man. Like I think Colin England's pretty durable, and he just put him out with a head kick in round 2 when he was kind of gassed a little bit. So yeah, pass for me. Good luck to you though.
Thanks.
Alrighty. So next fight we have Tyson Pedro, Modestas Bukauskas. Another fighter that I seen live. Pedro again, back when I wasn't gambling, so I was like, no idea who this guy is. I didn't want to look through his regional tape if I wasn't gambling on him, and he had no photo on UFC. I was like, what a weird name. Who's this guy? Tyson Pedro seems like a creative character. Came out there, got dropped by Khalil, and then just submitted him. And he had a mad entry song as well. I was vibing it, probably because I was drunk. I liked him ever since. Yeah, I liked him ever since, and then just taping his career now. I was so close to fading him against Bukauskas. Just really bad takedown defense. He's got a lot of obviously advantages and athletic advantage. I think he hits like a truck. I think he was fighting within himself against Hunsaker and Villanueva. I actually had the under in that. No, I actually had Pedro round 1 in the Ike fight, and it was a lot better than it was in the Hunsaker fight. The Hunsaker fight was minus 200, and I played it there too. But I think in the Ike fight, it was pick 'em or it was plus money, barely plus money. And I was sweating, man. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? Why are you throwing one punch every 2 minutes? Just put him out. And then Ike started holding his leg from one leg kick, and he still didn't go in for the kill. I get it, 2 years off or whatever it was, coming back from an injury. A lot of them want some cage time. But when it does, the one uppercut he threw, Ike was out cold. I think he hits like a truck. You've seen him, he hurt Shogun, he hurt OSP, and it was just with a 1-2, untelegraphed 1-2. So I think he has a lot of knockout potential. It's just as soon as this gets out, he's kind of. I like to fade these guys that if they get out of round 1, they seem to gas, and that's why they fight really patiently. And if he fights really patiently, and he gives Bukauskas is always on his bike, and he just mostly throws 1-2s. If he chooses to go 1-2 with Bukauskas, it's going to give him a close fight. And Bukauskas definitely has the better cardio, the better output, probably not the greatest power. But yeah, there was a few things, I wanted to play Bukauskas, half a unit, win a unit. I wanted to play the over. But yeah, just the fact that how hittable Bukauskas is and the actual power that Tyson has, it's kind of scared me away. It's why I passed on Bukauskas against Campbell. I just thought there was a slim possibility that Campbell could run through him before he gasses in rounds 1 or 2. He has been knocked out before in round 1. Even before the UFC, I still have those durability issues with Modestas. So yeah, I ended up passing on everything. I think, I was close. I was very close. Just everything I saw from Pedro, I was like, man, this is probably the closest, the best I felt about a money line, but I still didn't want to play it. And there's one more fight that's coming up next that's actually like that. But yeah, it's a pass for me at the moment. I think if you do have to play it, if you are leaning Bukauskas, the over is probably safer. I think they go hand in hand. If it gets over 1.5 rounds, then Bukauskas is probably the value side. If not, then Pedro probably sparked him. So yeah, it's a pass fight for me, but it's definitely a dog or pass. I think Pedro has to do a lot more to prove himself. I just think he's a bit green. He's got a lot of skills. Even the Kimura, the Kimura, he tried the same Kimura against Shogun, and he ended up on bottom. And it's just like he's doing like amateur, women's MMA stuff. Just falling down onto his back to go for a Kimura. Just a lot of things. And even the Shogun, this last thing I'll say, when he was fresh, Shogun was countering him. It's like, come on, man. You got so much more reach and speed on Shogun. How are you getting countered in the pocket? And he looked a bit uncomfortable with the counters. This was before he blew out his knee. So, yeah, dog or pass for me. I'm just scared with Bukauskas. I'm a harsh critic of him. What about you, man?
Yeah, so Pedro hasn't won a fight that's gone out of the first round yet. And I do understand your caution with playing Modestas, because I think he's a better live bet, right? Because
100%.
all the finishing equity early is going to be like, wouldn't you be shocked if Modestas sparked him in round one?
A little bit.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he stunned Pedro and finished him in round one. So yeah, Pedro's got all the finishing upside in round one. You might as well just wait to live bet Modestas. I took a small play on the over 1.5. That just kind of caters to Modestas. He's an over 1.5 merchant. He just hates engaging. He loves circling away. It's the big cage. I didn't make it like a massive play because Pedro does hit fucking hard. So, it's only going to take one, perfectly timed uppercut, like you said, or, even a leg kick could potentially buckle him. He throws really damn hard. But yeah, he's been fairly patient since coming back from injury, and I'm hoping he fights the same way in this fight. So yeah, I think the over 1.5 is a decent spot. And then
I agree with you.
Modestas live.
Yeah, I agree with everything, man. That's one of the reasons I passed. It's because I think the live bet is going to be there. You know what I mean? No need to force it, because at worst case, it could still be Pedro round one, and then just Modestas is still there, and then you're like, okay, now it's the time to pull the trigger. I've got a couple of comments I want to address. Some people that I've never seen before. Andreas Olsen, Stevie. Honestly, if you create a perfect fighter that could touch the Dagestani formula limb for limb, ain't that Volkanovski 155? Yeah, probably, man. Probably. We'll talk about it. I'm excited to talk about this one. Skal for Serbia. I think I know who this is. I think it's a Swedish or Norwegian dude that approached me on Sherdog, and he always has funny comments like that. Parky, sharp dude. Bukauskas is the side for sure. He is. Free Ukraine. Pedro throws like one strike at a minute. No, he throws a bit more. I think that first fight is just getting his feet wet again in the octagon. That's it's the same as who's the Black Jag? Ulberg, when he came back against Sharan. Just, man, he could have. And then you look at his subsequent two fights, round one knockouts, but he just came out super patient. And I actually bet a lot on him by KO, because I'm like, he's going to land that check hook, the same check hook that William Knight landed on Sharan. And he actually didn't throw that hook once in 3 rounds. I was like, what's that all about? It's your best weapon. What? And it just, that annoyed me. But anyway, let's move on. How are you for time, mate? Do we need to go a bit quicker, or are you good?
Oh, no, I'm good. I got all night.
I see you cracked open a drink, which always means you.
Yeah, no, I'm relaxed.
You're not going anywhere. Or maybe you are. It's a Saturday night. Who knows?
It's still a Thursday night here.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's fine. Maybe this club's open here every night in Melbourne. So, alrighty. Speaking of fights that I really wanted to play, well, actually, I'm lying. I've played some stuff on here. So, Jimmy Crute versus Menifield. I know some people know about my the under 1.5 record. This was the one that I hit I wanted to hit, and it kind of reminds me of the Misha Serkinov versus Alonzo Menifield under 1.5. It was at Pick'em, and I was going to pass on that because it's hard to confidently play Alonzo Menifield unders when you watch his tape, right? The the Clark fight going over and the OSP fight, and he can't hit anything, just swings at air. And then you watch the Herman fight, and if he was going to knock out anyone, it would have been an ancient Ed Herman. And you just don't know. You don't know if he's going to preserve his cardio, or you don't know if he's going to come out like swinging like an animal and hunt for that under 1.5. So the only reason I played that under 1.5 in the Misha Serkinov fight, I was like, it's 50-50% with the power that he has and with how chinny Misha is and with how much he finishes in round one. It's got to be better than 50-50%, right? Had to be favored. So I just put half a unit, and the number saved me there. This was a pick'em too, and by the time I got around to it, it's like it's $176 now, $1.80, which is just under pick'em. It's kind of going up and down, and it's the same thing. Jimmy Crute's finishing everyone in round one. He's getting finished by everyone in round one himself. Menifield, again, I look at his tape. It doesn't fill me with much confidence. Is he going to come out like a retard against Serkinov? Maybe because he was training with Pat Barry. A lot of people crapping on him, but Pat Barry said to him, you got to spark, you run through him in round one, which is actually a good game plan. Maybe he says the same thing. Crute's been knocked out before. He has absolutely no defense. Who knows? Maybe Pat Barry says, do the same thing again, man, because I think that's Menifield's best path here. I actually came away from deep taping this. I deep taped it to see about the under 1.5, and I like Menifield, man. I like Menifield. I was like, Crute's, wrestling, he just crawls on his knees. He's never really easily taken anyone down other than Paul Craig and, Mikhail, a really small Mikhail, and obviously, Anthony Smith, who just negative defense. I was big on him on Hill against Crute. That was my claim to fame when I had no social media presence. I was just arguing with people, and they're like, "Oh, what about the leg kicks? What about Hill's takedown defense?" I'm like, "He's a $3 underdog, dude," and then he ended up making me look like a genius. Yeah, I just think, I just want to bet it, man. Like I want to bet Menifield, even though I hate him. I always fade him, man. I just want to bet him here. I haven't pulled the trigger. I have $100 on Menifield round one. It's paying plus 800. I think that's his best path. As soon as it gets out of round one, I think the cardio, I think it becomes flaky, which is why I haven't pulled the trigger on the money line. I also played the under 1.5, just because I wanted to play it and then think about it for a couple of days and then just, doing a chat. It could be like another Misha Serkinov. I'm going to be annoyed if I only have $100 on Alonzo Menifield and then Crute sparks him in round one, because it's possible. It's very possible, right? Like we've seen, I think Menifield does have a good chin, but we've seen Darren Clark just land overhand rights on him. We've seen him knocked out by OSP. So I think it's possible, but I think there's a decent probability that this just ends up being a gassy 3-round fight where Crute wins because he's got the way better cardio, the more technical striking, and yeah. That's where I'm at. It's just the whole thing's. It feels like there's going to be some really good bets here, easy money bets, but it also screams a massive pass to me as well. And I also think it's a good live bet. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards the pass. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I could see why you're confused. I think both of these guys have been poor people to put your money on. Because they're both usually huge favorites. This is actually the first time Menifield's ever been an underdog. Crute's lost multiple times as a large favorite as he is right now. So, obviously you can't play Crute at juice. Like that's just ridiculous. He's lost multiple times at the same price range. It just seems like a foolish way to invest in the fight. And then you have two conflicting narratives. You have, Crute from being from Australia, and then you have Black History Month. So that makes it even more confusing. So then it leaves you with the total. Um, and yeah, I think I lean under for sure. I was hemming and hawing over this one, and I let the line get away from me, and it was like it was pick 'em for a little bit, and now the best I'm seeing is like minus 143. Um, and I don't know. I I still think there could be some value on that, like obviously. Um, but it's a tough one because you don't want to play juice on a under 1.5. When it's hard to kind of get a read on how the fight's gonna go. Like you would assume that Crute's gonna try to go for takedowns. Menifield's gonna be able to stuff them. Menifield's gonna be able to land on him. Crute's shown that he has a poor chin, so Menifield should win KO, right? That's what like the common sense would take you. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I just hate trusting Menifield.
that's the thing, man. But it feels, I was taping to see if I was gonna play the under, and then as I'm taping, it's just it feels like a Menifield spot, and yeah, it's like, do I just play the number? Like I should just play the number and not worry about it. I guess if you play a little bit of Menifield, a little bit of under 1.5, half a unit each, Menifield round KO, red panty night for you. Jimmy Crute round 1, sub or KO, because Crute man can finish people, right? He's one punch KO like LV, durable people before. He's capable, so it's not like Menifield can't be KO'd. And we've seen him on the bottom of back control by William Knight. If Crute gets there, and then if Crute does that, you kind of covered, you hedged. And then if he gets out of round 1 and you lose your over 1.5, under 1.5, then I guess you can just look to live bet. The fight starting round 2, both guys are maybe gassy. You still got half a unit on Menifield, the dog money, and then you can live bet Crute to get out. I guess that's an option. And Menifield round 1, you get a red panty, you hit both your bets. I guess if you want to play like that, that's what I used to play back in the day, and a lot of the time I used to, win 30 units like scrap. I don't bet like that anymore because you can get burned. But yeah, just it's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. Maybe I just leave half a unit on the under because let's be honest, like what would you cap the under at, like statistically, numbers wise?
I don't know. The more we talk about it, the more I'm starting to like this under. Probably.
Have you watched any interviews?
I think there's reason to like potentially cap it at like 70%.
Yeah,
because they both can finish.
Yeah, like you had Serkinov before in the last fight, and it's like, is Menifield going to knock him out or not? And I was like, I don't really like Serkinov's finishing upside if he can't get the takedown. But here, Crute has the finishing upside. He can spark him as well.
Or sub him.
Yeah, I don't know about that just because I don't think he's going to get a takedown. But, anything can happen. You're right. 70% probably more generous than I am. Yeah, let's move on. We've been talking about this for way too long. Have you watched any interviews? Sometimes I like to listen to interviews. I watched Crute's interview, and he's like, I'm in a much better headspace. I was just, fighting injured, and I hated it, the typical stuff. Now I love it. I'm going in there. And then he's like, what are you going to do against Menifield? And he said, I'm just going to show him. I'm going to overwhelm him with how much better I am in every aspect of the fight. I'm like, cool, that gives me nothing. If he said I'm going to go in there like an idiot and try and knock him out in round 1, I would hammer the under. Maybe I'll watch some Menifield interviews because he's an idiot and whatever he says is actually true.
I wouldn't be surprised if Crute ran through him. He's only 26. He's got way more room to improve than Alonzo.
Yeah, he's definitely got more potential, man. Alonzo is what he is. He will sprawl and brawl. He will knock you out in round 1. Otherwise, he's going to struggle to win a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Abraham Khan. Yeah, I know this is off topic. I'm wondering if you're going to break down the LFA card. I'm thinking about making it out to watch it live. Look, I was going to try, man, but I'm just running myself dry this week, so we'll see. It's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, LFA's tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to spend some time with my missus soon, so we'll see, mate. I'll definitely be posting my picks. Black History Month. I don't think Black History Month went well for some of the Bellator fighters. Oh, Neil won, but
so did Larkin.
Oh yeah, okay. I just remember Caldwell, who was my one.
Caldwell got robbed.
Rubbish. They should never rob someone like that on Black History Month. That's the thing. Crute is an ape, but he's not always an ape. Like he had the punch that he landed on Alvey. That was a nice pull counter, right? He was waiting, and then when Alvey overextended, he went back and countered him. I don't know. The smartest thing is, I'll give you some betting advice. If you're thinking this much about a fight, you should just pass. That's what I've learned over my years as an average bettor. All right. Let's move on. Justin Tafa, Parker Porter. I'll take this one because this was my first bet that I was actually happy to lay. I got a unit on Porter. Someone mentioned it to me. It said maybe it should be a favorite. I'm like, okay, let's look into it. At first, I was like, oh, I don't want to touch this fight, man. Porter is unathletic. I get it. He looks amazing in his fights against people like Sherman, who are the bottom of the barrel. Very hittable, so the target's always there. And Sherman was gassed in one round, and Tafa's got that punching power, and maybe because Porter's hittable, can hit him. But then taping. Porter's pretty durable, man. He got hurt 2-3 times by Dorcas. I think Dorcas is a ranked fighter, despite his loss streak. And the speed is massive. And, Tafa is another guy that's flat-footed, right? And then you look into more of his career, and just Tafa can't beat anyone, man. Even if this devolves into a 3-round striking fight, he has been outstruck by Jared Bandera on the feet over 3 rounds, right? He got wobbled. He got outstruck by Carlos Jr., I think that's his name, the guy that got cut.
Felipe.
Close enough. I got a guy that threw 5 punches in the first round. He lost the decision to him, and he hurt him as well. So, and he's been knocked out by De Castro. So he's just not a good Samoan fighter. A lot of these Samoans have power and durability. I don't think he has the durability. I've seen him rocked on regionals and in 3 UFC fights now by Bandera and Carlos, right, Felipe. So I think Porter can hurt him. I think the volume. Tafa just does the Philly shell. His feet are planted, not much footwork, and he just looks to counter. If Porter doesn't not get knocked out, he does have awful wrestling, but if he ends up on the ground, man, Tafa is horrible on the ground. You just have to find some of the fights in his regionals. Yeah, he's probably improved, but he's never going to improve that much. It took Mark Hunt 45 years to improve. Literally, his last run in the UFC when he finally developed the ground game, and it was just enough to survive. So, I think it's a bit of a sweaty fight. I understand a lot of people passing. I just hit that $2.30 line because I knew it would move. And more often than not, if this goes over, I think Porter wins, and it's a pretty safe fight. The only thing that's unsafe, is the judges again. I'm a bit nervous. And, just how hittable Porter is. But, I think he's durable. I think even if this stands on the feet for 3 rounds and there's no takedowns, I think this is still a pick and fight, personally. That's how much I don't rate, Tafa's volume and minute winning ability.
Mm-hmm.
So dog a pass. I took a unit on it. I might hedge off a little bit. The line is moving in Porter's direction, so we'll see. It is a shit show. But what do you think, mate?
I passed on it. I get the Porter play. Tafa's a complete turtle off his back, and Porter should be able to get some cage push going. But you make a good point with the judging. I think Porter will have to win kind of emphatically if rounds are close. I could see Tafa getting the rub over there, and I just didn't want my money tied up in this fight. I think there's a decent amount of variance because I think Tafa could spark him early. He's got the speed and the leg kicks, but I'm not interested in playing him at juice when all the grappling upside is with Porter. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe the over would be good, but then I don't want to get into a situation where Tafa sparks him early or Porter gets him down in round 1 and has him mounted immediately. So I'm just passing. Hopefully it's a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually don't think he's faster than Porter, man. I think the only reason I played this is because Tafa is so slow himself. He has a good uppercut.
Early, he'll probably be a little faster early. He does slow down a bit though as the fights go on.
Yeah, yep. It's another good live bet. I've also contemplated, having just half a unit, and then if he gets out of round 1, adding another half unit on Porter. But we'll see. Tune in for the final bets to find out. Alrighty. Talking about it's finally a good fight on the card. Jack Della versus Randy Brown. I'll let you take this one away, mate.
Oh man, I'm fucking pumped for this fight. I think this is gonna be a great fight. This is one of the fights that I seem to be on kind of unpopular opinion with how I see the fight playing out or where I see value on the fight. But I played Brown at plus 280, and I played Brown by sub at plus 1400. I just think it's a massive step up in competition for Jack. He's gotten 3 quick knockouts in a row against like complete bums. I think people are being a little too harsh on Randy Brown about him being fragile and um, Jack's ability to knock him out. Like they think it's just a given that Della's going to be able to knock him out, but I think it's going to be close on the feet. I think Randy Brown has pretty good striking defense. He's much bigger, he's longer, he's quicker, um, and he has multiple ways to win. Um, like I do think that the submission is a long shot. Like it is plus 1400. Um, Only reason being is that his wrestling is so weak. I do think he is a good grappler. Like if Jack puts himself in a bad position like he has previously a couple times in the past couple fights, I think Brown's more likely to make him pay for it. Whereas like Lusa is just a kickboxer. Amiv Amiv's submissions are pretty weak. He's a decision machine. I think Brown could grab a choke a lot easier than they could. And I think on the feet it's close. The only thing is like I would say like it it's going to be most dangerous for Brown early when Jack's fresh. But if he can survive the first round, I think it becomes a 50-50 fight, and I would probably price Brown like around plus 185. So I think there's a good amount of value at current money line. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't think you're an island. We got old mate Parky. Brown easy bet at this number. If he dies, he dies. There's a few people that I'm seeing on Brown, and that's the first line that jumped out at me before I started taping. I know Jack very well. He knocked out the guy that knocked out my best friend making his professional debut, Alden Bates. We watched that one together on Fight Pass as revenge. Yeah, he's just improving from fight to fight, and I think you're either Gugabe and you absolutely think he's overrated, or you're just probably overrating him yourself a little bit. But I think he's good. And it's hard to tell because he's just sparking through everyone, and you're not really seeing any resistance, other than the looser fight. I have an inclination that. What's your thought on the under 2.5? I have a feeling like you're not going to like it because you think Brown's durability is better than people think.
It all depends on the number. Like I don't think I want to play juice.
It's juice, yeah, it's juice.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Like it might hit, but I could also see a decision.
Yeah, yeah. But I taping it. I thought. I remember the Chaos Williams fight, and just he got wobbled twice and he survived. And I think Chaos Williams probably has bigger one punch power. And I'm just like, I hate betting against guys that can get dropped but they can survive. It's the worst thing watching your under lose like that. But then I taped it and I was like, Della has the perfect mix of heavy hands and just like technique as well, right? It's not just, he's not swinging bombs like Chaos until he's gassed. It's just constant pressure, and he works the body, and he always stays in the pocket. So, when Brown is doing his little, looking at him through the hands and stupid crap, and he's like ducking and weaving, Madeleine is just going to be ripping the body. Kind of what he did to Hot Chocolate, Danny Roberts. So I was like, if he's just going to do this, he's done it to everyone. If he gets taken down a bit, he's going to stand up, he's going to pressure, and Brown is going to retreat to the cage, kind of like against Vicente Luque, and just going to be trying to get away from the pressure, ducking and weaving, and he's just going to be eating shots, knees, uppercuts. I feel like potentially he can run through them at some point. That last fight, I live bet Trinaldo. I thought it was 1-1 going into the third, and I thought Trinaldo beat Brown. I can't rely on Brown to get a finish. I think you said it's a bit of a long shot. I think it's Brown's best shot to submit Madeleine personally. I forgot about that deep guillotine that he had on Trinaldo. I thought that was over. Just not fighting the hands, completely locked in, high elbow. I think, Jack also has good submission composure. You can see it on tape. A lot of people think that's a bad thing, but I just see a guy that's comfortable in the sub and he knows how to defend it and he doesn't panic and he knows that eventually he's going to get out. But yeah, I think that number that you told me, I don't know if I have anything close to that number. Wouldn't mind sprinkle on that. But I feel like I'm still haven't decided on the under. I've taped quite a bit of fights. The only one I have to tape is the Lusa fight, which is literally the only fight in Madalena's career that went over 2.5. And if I remember correctly, I've taped it a lot of times. He hurt him in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and Lusa just kind of survived. So I have to refresh my memory, but I do have a bit of a juice line. That's the only thing I would play. I don't feel like hitting Brown. I just don't think he differentiates himself, in a fight. He's doing the leg kicks, even against Jared Gooden. You look at his fights. He's fighting Jared Gooden. He's fighting Trinaldo, old guy with not much volume, and he's just going to 29-28 close decisions. And Gooden, he dominated Gooden, but Gooden's horrendous, man. Just absolutely, he just stares at you. A Bubakar fight, he just got outstruck for 3 rounds against a Bubakar of all people. So yeah, it's a pass for me. The only thing I have is the under. It's a bit juiced. I haven't decided on it yet. I have to watch that Lusa fight, and I have to see if Brown can survive. When he's getting hurt, when he's getting pressured. Yeah, that's it for me. I would rather live bet him, but that's submission. The reason I like that under 2.5 is because I feel like Brown submission or Della KO is why I kind of like it.
Yeah, I do think obviously Della KO is super live, and I think if it gets out of round 1, I don't think he's gonna get a KO. That's why I'm a little hesitant on it, but I think he slows down a little bit after round 1, but we've just been seeing him get these early knockouts. So, he's obviously, he looks perfect, right? His boxing is so crisp and the way he works the body. But what's his boxing going to look like when he's met with more resistance? So yeah, I just need Brown to survive round 1, and I think it'll be a close fight.
Have you watched his regionals? Obviously, when he was making his debut, I went into his regionals, and he was known as a guy that would start slow, and then a lot of his KOs would come rounds 2 and 3. He would just kind of pick up the pressure. I'm surprised he's actually running through everyone in UFC in round 1. I think that's just improvement, and the boxing's getting more technical, and he's getting a bit more comfortable in the pocket. So I think he'll be fine. Like round 2 starts. In those regional scenes, he was getting rocked and taken down, and he looked really gassed. And then he comes out round 2 like a Terminator and just knocks out the opponent. I'm like, oh man, I thought this kid was done.
Yeah, I watched the Pettigrew one, his second Pettigrew fight, and he looked like shit in round 1. And
yeah, he looked done. And the commentators always bring it up, like, oh, he always starts slow, and he got rocked.
He's a lot smaller than Brown too. You have to remember that.
Yeah, but so is Trinaldo. So is so a lot of these people.
Has he ever fought anyone this big?
Yes, he's fought Juicy or whatever his name is. Is a guy that trains acidic kickboxing. He's like a judoka. I think he threw him around a little bit, but then round 2, Madalena just ran through him, worked the body, and probably ask Scrap. Scrap probably trained with that Juicy guy. It's a French dude.
Oh yeah.
That guy, the judoka with the mullet, with the
he did train with Scrap.
Yeah, no, but nothing at the moment, man. I don't want to force. I feel like I'll be forcing Brown. If anything, Brown decision. But yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
It seems like the comments are split with Brown being a sharp bet and Della being an obvious KO.
Kinda.
It's a contentious fight. I think everyone has an opinion. You either think Della's gonna knock him out, or you think Brown is the side. Yeah, I fall on Brown being the side.
And me personally, the way my style of betting is I would rather just wait, and if Della's tired, I would just live bet it. At a much worse line than risking pre-bet and then you get sparked. This is the way I am. If live betting is available. But if you feel really comfortable about Brown, then I just don't. After tape, I just didn't feel comfortable at all. Some people, Parky's on your side. Parky loves a value bet. He will be. He'll be the first to complain when Randy Brown gets caught behind the ear. He hates behind the ear shots. I'm going to call out some of these comments that are sucking my nuts. I love them. Kurt, Volkanovski, Steve, you're the tits, bro. Whiskey and the big brands become my Thursday night. Thank you, man. That means a lot. I have to start drinking again for this pod. I only did one. It was fun. Andreas Olsen, this is a classic where we're at now fight. Yeah, this is definitely that Swedish guy. All right, let's move on. Co-main event, Yair Rodriguez, Josh Emmett. What do you reckon about this one, mate?
Oh man, this one's annoying because I capped this fight like around 50-50, but I'm terrified about the injury news going on about Emmett. Like I had a bet on Emmett at plus 143, and I ended up arbing out of it because the injury rumor going around, and I heard some whispers that there's going to be a ton of Yair money coming in, and it's starting to come in, but the limits haven't opened up completely, and there's supposed to be more piling in. So I'm kind of just sitting back right now and seeing what happens with this line. But if I didn't have those concerns, I would be playing Emmett. I switched over to the under because I do think there's finishing upside with both guys. Albeit they're both durable. I think either can finish the fight, and I think it's a solid line for a 5-rounder. There's plus money out there on doesn't go the distance. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just gonna see what happens with the money line side, though.
Yeah, man, I'm the same. I was surprised by the money on Yair, and again, probably my most respected friend said I can't decide whether the year line is accurate or it still has a little bit of value at $1.61, just a bit better than minus 200. That didn't sound right to me, so I looked into it, and straight away I was like, I can't bet Yair at this price. Even before he went to minus 200, it's just his style. His style is not for me. I love watching it. Probably my favorite styles. I wish more people fought like that in the UFC. Throw caution to the wind and tornado kicks, and it's just less boring. Just aggressive. But yeah, just in terms of betting, I don't want to bet on a guy as hittable as Rodriguez and with horrible, takedown defense and always flop into his ass. And yeah, no way against Emmett. I've been on the Emmett train. Everyone seems to underestimate Emmett. That Qatar fight, I played him there, and it was more a fade on Qatar, big dog odds. And again, I want to play Yair Rodriguez here too. He's just look at the line; it's crazy. Emmett's going to fight for your money. There's no quit. When he dislocated his thumb against John Tuck, saw that fight out. He blew both his knees out. I was on him against Burgos. So how can I like the guy? The guy just is falling apart in the ring, and he still wins you money. And even that Qatar fight, yeah, probably a robbery. I haven't rewatched it. I watched it a bit on quick speed. But, it's the value, he closes distance quickly. He's going to have his hands low. He's live to eat a big bomb. He's very quick. And I'm actually on the same play as you, which I never really would do this. I've been trying to do this a lot this year, like with my overs and unders. If I can't envision it, I kind of pass. And taping both of these fights is like, these guys are very durable. But I was surprised that the under, like you said, is plus money. The same. Steve Gregory under 4.5 was plus 130 is the play. I paid another extra 10 cents, and I just does not go to decision, right? I was thinking about that last second KO in the zombie fight, right? Any second this fight can finish, and in that fight, Yair Rodriguez was eating hooks from zombie the whole fight. Like I said, he's got bad boxing defense, and despite both of them being super durable, maybe Emmett knocks him out. Maybe he's the first person to knock him out. The way he closes distance and he does the switch stance fighting, Emmett with his head down, maybe it's a knee, maybe it's another elbow like that. His eye was busted up by Qatar just from landing jabs. It could be another Song Yadong, Corey Sandhagen, where he just gets cut and then over the 4 rounds the doctor stops it. These guys are just going to kick the crap out of each other, and I'm surprised. I was really surprised that it wasn't minus money. Just usually when it's two durable guys in the 5-rounder, they give you minus money. And I was like, okay, I see this probably going over, but I'm just going to play the number and hope for the best. I don't know how it's going to finish, but I'm just hoping, especially with the injury news. And I think we can. It's probably good that you are that because I was at a wedding last week. That's why I couldn't live bet, and I ended up having half a unit on Lewis by KO because I was more comfortable. And as soon as I saw that line move, luckily I brought my gambling phone, my burner to the wedding, and I just took it out and I just cashed out a quarter unit off that because I was like, nah, this is sus. And the way Spear ran through him, that doesn't happen to Lewis, man. It was accurate. Did you say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you. We're seeing it more and more. Like people are going into fights injured because they need the money.
Well, that's always been happening, but what we're seeing more and more is the leaks and the massive line movement. The only time we haven't seen it is the TJ Dillashaw, which surprised me because apparently he had that for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pissed about that because I was going to be the only one to lay juice on TJ when everyone was like, not TJ, Aljo.
Mm-hmm.
Because TJ in a bad matchup for him, bad matchup. But I just like this guy's like 36, man. He's barely winning his fight, barely beat Corey Sandhagen. And when I realized he had the shoulder injury, I was like, oh, that would have been such easy money. I regret, but surprisingly, that line didn't move. But this, minus 200 now for Yair. It's either the injury, or it's, I don't know, maybe people are just piling on because they think there's still value in Yair somehow. Maybe it's not a leak. Maybe it's just normal public money. Who knows?
No, I heard it's bigger accounts that are moving the line. That's what I was told. Yeah.
It has to be true. My only concern is Josh Emmett hip, like how is he going to get finished? If it was an ACL or something, knee gives out, is his knee, because I played soccer for like 6 months with a torn hip. It sucked. It was pain every day. But it's like, is he going to, like fall over? Like, I don't know what's going to happen to his hip dislocates.
He's definitely not going to wrestle, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I wasn't hoping for that anyway. Even then, it's like I still want to hit this. How crazy is this line on Emmett, right? Like, what if he lands a knockout in the first 2 rounds? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think he could be a good live spot too because Yair's just going to be so much faster than him in round 1, and Yair's way higher volume while he's fresh. So I can definitely see Yair getting his kicks off early and pulling away on volume in round 1.
Yeah, and MMA Jesus agrees. Yeah, it's just another live bet. I hate to sound like a broken record. It sounds like I'm advocating for live bet every week. But
there's just more edge with live bet. You just have more information.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 6 units up for the year, and 2 of those units were live betting. Hammering the juice from Strickland and who else did I bet was a good live bet? I can't remember now. But last week, I don't want to think about it because I'm hearing the live bets on Devin Clark and Jubilee, and I'm like, just whatever. I was at a good wedding. I was having fun. Let's not stress. There was always next week. So hopefully this week will be some opportunities. It's just the way I gamble. I'd rather preserve my money than pay and then find out. I'd rather just watch live and just quickly jump in and lock it in. Emmett gets lit up against Max Holloway and Arnold, Steve Gregory. I don't know, man. I think you're underestimating him once more.
Max gets lit up against everyone.
Yeah, dude, I think Max against Emmett will be the time to finally knock out Max Holloway.
Yeah.
How he protects the overhand rights, which he doesn't.
Yeah, he'd be fucked.
All right, main event. We big discussions we've had so far. We got Islam Makhachev, Volkanovski. Do you want to take this one away, mate?
No, you can take this one.
All right. I was just asking because I do have plays here. I do have plays that I either regret or don't regret. We'll see. So I take this maybe second, third fight because the props opened up. Nothing else opened up. So let's take advantage. Went deep, Let's see every single fight where Volkanovski's been taken down, blah, blah, blah. And, just scrolling through it quickly, Emmett, Elkins, pardon me, Chad Mendes, that's a popular one. Jeremy Kennedy, which I was there live. I tried to fade Volkanovski. I used to fade Volkanovski a lot back in the day and lost a lot of money. So I was there live for that one. I was pissed that Kennedy just flaked to ground and pound. Essentially, all those ones other than Chad Mendes, just try to take him down, get reversed, take him down themselves, and just overpower. That's a lightweight, right? So I'm like, I see, the Chad Mendes fight. I don't put too much stock in that Chad Mendes fight. He essentially fought like Conor McGregor, right? Conor McGregor said he wanted Chad Mendes to take him down because he was going to get gassed out, and he was going to get up and put it on him, right? We've never seen Volkanovski fight recklessly like that again. It's just smart game planning. It's kind of like the Damian Maia, Kobe Covington. Everyone's like, oh, Kobe Covington's so hittable. Maia was busting him up. It's like he fought like that to have an exciting fight, to get a new contract. And it was the first exciting fight in his life, So, yeah, I just think in this fight, he's going to be a lot more patient. We're seeing that he has good get-ups, good defense, submission defense. I don't like how he overextends. I saw that in the Ortega fight as well. Like, he overextended with a big hook. I think it was round 4 when Ortega was basically done. And he still got the double underhooks on Volk and took him down. I was like, oh, wow. Like, I was expecting more jabs and straights and not really overextend, from someone like Volk. One overextension here and, it could be bad news. And then after tape, I just hammered, just glossed over the Doba, the Moises fights. And I just hammered some overs, 2,000 on the over 1.5, 1,000 on the 2.5, which I was always going to cash out. Went on an alternative bookie, played start round 3. I thought that was more safe. And then, as I'm taping, played the 2 takedowns for Makhachev on Neds. So that's, if you look at his career, the only time he doesn't get 2 takedowns is when he's against Ramos. Obviously, he didn't want to take down an 80cc world champion. 0 takedowns there. And whenever he's submitted someone in round 1. So obviously 1 takedown, 1 submission. So he even had 2 against Charles Oliveira, which I don't remember personally. I know he dropped him before the sub, but I think he took him down in round 1. But yeah, according to the stats, he's got two takedowns there. So some of the boys were like, I actually like that more than your overs because that could happen in 1 minute. 1 takedown, Volk works his way up, another takedown. That's your bet's hit. So that's minus 200. And then as the time was going on, I was like, I really don't like these plays. Do I really want? I saw he almost got an armbar against Doba at the bell, and Doba got out. I do trust Volkanovski to get out, but it's like, do I want this much invested on overs? They've burned me before. Comes out versus Holland. That Perrin jobber versus that 19-year-old kid, Rosas Jr. It's like I made that rule for myself. When there's that much dominant ground time, don't play the juiced overs. And I was going to see if me passing on the Eubanks Zombie Girl was going to be a good pass, but it never materialized. That would have been a good fight to see if he would go over with all that top time from Eubanks. But yeah, the money came on the other side, so I was going to cash out for a loss, which pissed me off, tilted me a little bit. And now it's come back, so I cashed out my over 1.5s. This is definitely a fight that I'm going to retape before my final bets tomorrow because I'm having a lot of back and forth. But my initial lean was it is going to go over. Volk's not going to get dropped like Oliveira. He's not chinny. He's not flaky. Good cardio, good footwork, lots of feints. Makhachev likes to feint. He looks to counter, kick from the outside. I think this goes over more than likely. I think there's a little bit of value in Volk, but I personally would rather just play the overs. I think it goes hand in hand. I think some people think that Volk can knock him out. Probably, but I'm not holding my breath. Not holding my breath. You'd probably have to be round 4 or 5, especially that lightweight. So yeah, I got a bunch of overs. I've already cashed out the over 1.5. I'm going to cash out the 2.5 probably and lose some money. I can't cash out the start round 3. I'm probably going to keep that. And what I've done, I've played the doesn't fight ends in finish. So hopefully I've done this a few times in 5 rounders. He goes over 2 rounds and he finishes before the 5th round, and I win both my money. I've hit that before, so yeah, I'll retake it. But that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning overs, and this is a perfect live bet fight to see how Volk is going to look, see who's going to gas out first. And then, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I don't think either of them are gonna gas out. I played Makhachev decision at plus 320 like a week ago. I just thought the number was wide, and it's come down a decent amount since then. The book that I played it on is down to plus 210, so over $1. It's come down already. I don't think I would play it right now. I just thought like over plus 300 for Islam decision is really good. I think Volk's a tough motherfucker. Like I don't think the takedowns are gonna come that easy, especially early. I think it's gonna take some wearing on him in order for him to get the takedowns. So I agree with your original stance on the overs. However, I wouldn't want to like overexpose myself to them. I think I would have just kept it to 1, either play the over 2.5 or just play the over 1.5, not both, because then, if it is the case where Islam can just run through him on the ground, like, then you're just absolutely demolished.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, so it's not a spot that I would like hammer or anything, but I think it's a solid spot to, go like a unit or so.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I'm totally expecting Islam to be able to big brother him a bit, especially as the fight goes on. Um, and I'm just praying that Volk can survive. But he's a trustworthy guy. He's not gonna quit in there. He's gonna give it his all. So I think those goes the distance and Makhachev decision prices are solid as hell, to be quite honest.
Yeah, 100%. That was my thought. It's you look into it. The guy's durable, no quit, good cardio, the little bit of ground time. That Ortega. Some people will say that Ortega guillotine is a red flag, but it just shows me there's no quit in him. There's no tap. Be like Jack Della.
Yeah.
And another breakdown was like he's so short. He's so short everywhere. It's going to be harder to armbar. You see, I can't remember who it was. Maybe Chad Mendes tried to do the leg wrap, the Dagestanis do, and
Hmm.
there was no leg. It was like wrapping around his ankles because his legs are so short. He just pulled out and he was up on his feet. And the taller you are, like if he wrapped his legs around Dan Hooker, or like Michael Johnson, one of the commentators, when Khabib had Johnson wrapped up, they're like, look how big Johnson's feet are. It's like he's not going to be able to get out of this Khabib wrap. So I was like, man, that's a good point. Walk's just going to push on the head and just get out of there, like against Chad straight away. He's just a little ball of hard to control,
Yeah. And like you think about the Sarukian fight, he didn't really have Armin in much trouble because Armin was able to scramble with him, and I think Volk will be able to hold his own, scrambling. Obviously he's not quite as good as Armin
No.
scrambling, but he can hold his own.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just talked myself out of it just because you know how it is as the week goes on, and I played it because I was going to cash it out, and then when the line moved the other way, some Twitter people playing the finish line,
Hmm.
I was like, oh no, like I was always going to cash these out, but I've cashed out my over 1.5. I just personally I would have just left the start round 3. Like I think in what world is Drew Dober and Moises. Moises is underrated. I've come around to Moises. I think he's very physical. I've seen even in that last fight against that Costa guy, how physical is that guy? He's strong. I'm not surprised that he was able to take Islam Makhachev down, and plus he's a good black belt.
Hmm.
Just a bit stupid, trying to jump on Makhachev's back. Yeah, you're gonna rear naked choke Islam, bro.
Yeah, and then he slipped right off.
Yeah, which I'm sure Islam saw that from a mile away. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this fool's gonna jump on my back now, and he's gonna slip right off. You would hope that Volkanovski would just disengage, right? Disengage and then just land a couple of jabs and then back up again. But yeah, like I said, I'll look into it some more just to see if I'm kind of hedged already. I've got the ending finish, which if it goes over or under, it just hedges me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby Green, Charles Oliveira. Yeah, Oliveira was 2 minutes away from making it to round 3. Just his striking style, man. Naked double kicks, front kicks, and shit like that. Just horrible. But
I
yeah, so
used
what's your
I
play, man? So
I
you got a
I
decision?
yeah, I played Makhachev decision plus 320. I used
That's a
to
good
try to fade Islam, and
same.
then I just got to the point where like I'm done. Like I'm never banging against this guy, and I went huge on him against Oliveira, and it
Yeah,
was obviously well worth it.
I remember that. I was still scared, man. I was because it's just I need to see. I just as I mentioned, that's my weakness. I need to see stuff, and I was like, I need to see more adversity from Islam before I fade him against a dangerous guy like Oliveira. But what I did there, it was as soon as he jumped in his guard, I called
Yeah,
up and I bet $2,000 live, and that's all I needed to see. Can he survive in his guard? So
yeah,
sweet, yeah. But I'm a believer now. I just
oh yeah,
now it's the other way. Now it's like maybe he's better than I think, and now maybe he runs through Volk in round 1 and 2. So now I'm just giving him too much credit probably. But we'll see. We'll I'll make up my mind by
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I bet Moises and Hooker against him, and like realistically, they were both like probably should have been plus 2,000.
I would never bet Moises. Moises is a guy I've been fading since his debut. But I think I bet the over 1.5 in a Hooker fight. So I was like, I think that's why I'm nervous. I was like, surely Hooker can survive, man. 1.5 rounds. Derb has done it.
Yeah, let's get that city kickboxing submission defense a little more respect.
No, yeah, don't get me started. That's one of the main reasons why builders are gonna renake Chuck Young. No offense, but all right.
I mean,
yeah, go on.
yeah, I'm at least do it cash the under. If Builder wins a decision, I'll be in shambles.
What did you get that under on? Is it plus money?
No, it was minus 130.
Oh, okay. All good. All right. What we'll do, man? We'll do the best bets and we'll call it a day. What's your what I do like the favorite bet and then the second favorite bet and then I do mine and then we kick it out of here and then people can tell if they want. If not, usually when I've got a guest on and we line up, it's people cash their bets. So.
Okay. So my favorite prop is Yair Emmett doesn't go the distance at plus money.
Nice. What about your second favorite?
What's probably Randy Brown.
Oh, nice.
I think I'm just leaning into that one because it's so contentious.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be your favorite, mate. I don't want no contentious picks here. You're not here to make a name of the big brain podcast.
You want a safe safe picks, some juice picks?
No, I want your favorite like, oh, this is my favorite bet. I'll take this to the bank. Like when you played it.
Okay. The Culibao over 2.5. That one I feel really comfortable with.
Nice. Yeah, and you got a better line anyway. All right. Looking at these bets, man. I want to say Porter. Jesus Christ. You know what? I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna say ends in finish for the year as well. The Emmett, just something about it, man. The number feels off, and if there's an injury there, it could look good value. Even though I don't know how it finishes. I'm just hoping that the number. I'm even hoping for a freak injury. I don't care. Just break another shoulder.
Stoppage, right? Doctor stoppage.
Yep, and yeah, it feels weird to have that as my favorite. I have to have the Porter as my second favorite because it's the first money line I laid it with confidence. It was plus money, and I beat the CLE, and the money's going to keep coming. So, yep. Weird week when Parker Porter and a prop that I don't see finishing is my two favorite bets. But you know what I like since we talked about? I like the Jenkins sub 2 and 3 plus 1,000. I love that bet. I'm gonna play that right now.
You think he's gonna go for the sub rather than ground and pound if he gets on top?
Yeah. If you I look through his whole career, he even in his eternal title fight, he won with the rear naked choke in round 4. And there was a lot of grappling, and you look into it more. He does. I think he's just
Shainis. Both his losses are submission too, right? So
and he gives up his neck, man. He gives up his neck. That's the thing. I mean, everyone you mentioned, Williams, everyone Lencioni, they all had deep rear naked chokes. If you just go straight to the end of the Lencioni fight, he's in the deep rear naked choke, and then the bell goes. It looked like he was about to tap.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like $100, 0.1 units, whatever.
Yeah.
To almost win a whole unit. Like, I actually feel good about that.
Yeah, that's a solid play. I agree.
Easy peasy. You got any LFA and PFL? What about that?
The lines are dusted.
On LFA?
Both. Yeah, I played Louis Sutherland on PFL at plus 225. He's plus 125 now. I played Babley at minus 270. He's like at minus 400.
Yeah, that's a big one, Jesus.
And then even more on LFA. Dennis, I played at plus 200. He's down to minus 150. And Stark's minus 175. He's minus 425. These lines just have no liquidity. So
Yeah, just ruin it for the rest of us, mate. No.
I know you gotta move so you can have access to the better numbers.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, last LFA, I was on Ferreira at $4 and Barrios at $4, and the line didn't move. So, you know, there will still always be an edge, like they say. You know.
And like the Delano, the main event, Delano opened at Pick'em, and
Yeah.
everyone hammered Delano, and he was the
Yeah.
lock of the week, and then he ends
I
up
regret.
getting. Yeah,
Big regret passing on Santos when I was telling everyone there's a bit of value there.
you did say that. I remember.
Yeah.
I ended up playing the under, and I was like, "Fuck! I wish I went bigger because it was set at 4.5."
Yeah. There's always going to be an edge. It's hard when, like, yeah, that was a mistake by the people that steamed Delano, but a lot of the time, a lot of the sharps don't make a mistake. Like when you got on that guy with the little ponytail thing, what's his name? The beat Schultz.
Oh
The
yeah,
Spike Carlisle ripoff.
yeah, Budka.
Budka or Dutka, whatever. Yeah,
Dylan
that was a good line movement, and that was the one that I just had to miss out on because it was 4 days of people smashing. And Palastri, when I taped it, I looked at it, it was $1.60. I was like, well, I can't believe people haven't steamed this. Maybe people are not
Yeah.
going to catch on to this. And then I woke up and it was just destroyed.
You got a piece of Karakaya, didn't you?
I did, yeah, but that
For
was
Bellator?
Bellator. Bellator is good, but LFA is on the day of the fights, so I'm getting odds tomorrow. I have to wake up early, and I only get prelims a couple of hours before, so I have to wake up a couple of hours before prelims, lock in my bets before the prelims start. Then they take all the lines away, and then the main card is good. Main card is like every hour, so I don't have to. Once the main card starts, I don't have to get rid of it. I can take my time.
It's an ugly card, I'll tell you that.
Man, the only fight I taped was the main event, and I'm feeling like taking a stab on the Brazilian. Isn't that line a bit?
Dude, money keeps coming in too.
That's just who's parlaying that Russian at $1.15, dude. Like it's.
I don't know.
If you tape him, he's been hurt multiple times, so he's capable of being knocked out.
I know Valente has been able to, he's been taken down multiple times, and that's Bakayev's game is being a boring wrestler. So he obviously has his path, but minus 700. That's pretty crazy.
Dude, I was expecting when I finished my tape, I was expecting minus 200, but that blew my mind. I was like, oh, I just started making excuses why I want to play the dog. But yeah, no, it was all good, man. I think we're.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Always want to bring some sharps on.
Yeah.
You want to plug anything or?
No, it's all good.
All good. Well, thanks for joining me, mate. Thanks. It was fun. It's always fun having a chat. And thanks for listening, everyone. And good luck on your bets.
All right. Later, boys.
See you, buddy.